Depth coverage of tonight's live Pinpoint Doppler 12 weather alert continues right now. Here's a live look at Pawtucket right now from our DOT jam cam. The roads are downright treacherous at this hour, and state emergency planners tell us they want everyone who can stay home to do so. Now let's check back in with Chief Meteorologist Tony Petracca. He's live in the Pinpoint Doppler 12 Forecast Center with more on what he's tracking. Tony?
Well, a very dynamic storm system. In other words, it's large in size, but so many little small-scale processes going on inside of it that really play a huge part as far as, who gets the snow, the rain, the wind, and how much snow. So we'll try to iron out all the details here. This is live Pinpoint Doppler 12 radar. We have it in the winter mosaic mode, so the colors represent precipitation type. Blue is snow, the pink is sort of a transition back and forth, and then the green is all rain. So this is essentially where the rain-snow line is setting up. So on one side of it, it's rain. In fact, it's a wind-driven rainstorm out in Nantucket. Sean Daly has been out there giving us reports, wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. On the other side of this line, it is mostly snow. Now, what will happen overnight tonight, this rain-snow line may creep up just a little bit like this, and then put the brakes on, and then go back out to sea. So those locations that have rain will eventually go back over to all snow. Amounts so far, based on our weather spotters, between 6 and 10 inches. It's so tough to measure because it's blowing and drifting all over the place. I mean, it's a lot of snow. It's tough for travel. Here are some of the totals that have been coming in. Weather spotters checking in. Coventry at 10. Cumberland has been fluctuating between 8 and 10. I mean, some reports a little higher than others. North Kingstown 8.2. Warwick 7.5. Portsmouth 7. Taunton 9. West Greenwich 9. And Attleboro at the 7 inches. Live pictures from Providence pretty much tell us a story. The snow blowing sideways. You can see the State House in the background. 27, the wind north at 32. That is not a wind gust. It is a sustained wind. In other words, consistently blowing at 32 miles per hour. That's some incredible wind speeds. Gusting 40 to 50. Of course, the humidity is high at 100%. Blizzard warning for the areas in red. So you mentioned the word blizzard. You think back to 1978 and 30 inches of snow. Doesn't necessarily mean that. In fact, snow amount has nothing to do with a blizzard definition. By definition, for a blizzard, 3 requirements: sustained winds of 35 or higher, with snow reducing visibility to a quarter mile or less, and these conditions have to be met for at least 3 consecutive hours. So you could have blizzard conditions with just 6 inches of snow. Now, obviously, we'll get more than 6 inches of snow. We're just not looking at 1978 totals. Winter storm warning for the areas in pink, Cape Cod and Block Island. A coastal flood warning for east coastal Massachusetts at the time of high tide. And a coastal advisory for Newport County in the Bay, perhaps some minor coastal flooding. I think it's more of a serious concern, though, right out here for east coastal Massachusetts. Heaviest precipitation now through 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. That rain-sleet line is critical as far as which towns get how much snow. The blowing and drifting continues. Snowfall rates at times 1 to 2 inches per hour. We've had reports of thunder. Was expected, not unusual in an intense nor'easter. When you hear the clap of thunder, it usually means the snow is coming down very, very hard. Heaviest amounts north and west, not as much as you get towards the Cape. Difficult travel, obviously, through tomorrow morning with airports, trains, and buses. Isolated power outages, nothing widespread, but we've had numerous reports of outages due to heavy snow and more than likely the gusty wind. Look at the huge temperature difference out across the lower Cape and Islands, upper 30s to low 40s. What's setting up is something we call a coastal front. In other words, everything on this side of the front is warm, everything on this side of the front is very cold, and when you usually have this kind of a setup, it's on this side of the front, the colder area, you get most of your snow, whereas out here you tend to get more in the way of rain. Look at these wind gusts, incredible, between 35 and 50 miles per hour. This just in, almost hurricane force on Block Island, a wind gust to 63 miles per hour. That is a strong wind. That'll continue overnight as the snow wraps up around the center of low pressure, which is intense south of New England right now to pass south and east of Cape Cod tomorrow morning. Mostly snow in this white zone, a brief mix and then back to snow, and then basically rain changing to snow across the Cape. So the wind and the snow continues throughout the overnight hours into tomorrow morning, though the intensity of the snow will start to let up later in the morning. In fact, it should shut off by afternoon. afternoon, but the wind will continue. A windy and cold afternoon. How much snow by morning? On the order of 12 to 16 inches in that area shaded in white. We should at least verify with as much as 12, so we feel confident on the low end of that forecast that it will verify. In other words, 12. But we're going 12 to 16. Some isolated 18-inch amounts are possible, though that's a small chance at this point. That pink zone, 8 to 12. As you head out towards the Cape and the islands, the amounts are much lower. By tomorrow afternoon, the snow is gone, but the wind continues. And then the rest of the week, it's nice and quiet with a gradual warming trend by the end of the week. I do anticipate an additional, say, 5 to 8 inches of snow tonight on top of what's on the ground. And then it's all over later tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you, Tony. And coming up next, we'll show you the problems that this storm is causing along